Hey, welcome back to the How to Podcast series. It's Dave with you. Hope you're doing well. We're getting, getting close to the end of the year here. Like, come on. Like, it's the beginning of December. I'm recording this. Okay, little behind the scenes. I'm recording this at the end of August. I know. For the beginning of December. Right. Dave, you're getting ahead of yourself. Yes, I am a little bit ahead of myself, but I just finished up all of my November episodes in August for National Podcast Post Month, which we just did. 30 episodes in 30 days, right? Yeah. Now we're back to our regular schedule of 3 a week, and I'm happy to be with you. So again, I'm recording this in the past. So I have no idea what's happening now in December. But I'm going to record this, edit it, post it now on August 28th for it to go live for you on December 1st. So I know, but this is what I do. I get ahead, I batch record, and I get my stuff out there. I found a book and I've been reading through it, and I thought there's some great things from this book that really could translate over for you. The book is Think Faster, Talk Smarter by Matt Abrahams. And there's some good stuff in here. And what I'd love to do is share with you what are things that I think could reasonably be kind of manipulated or kind of reworked for a podcast audience like you, a podcaster. And I have 8 podcasting lessons from the book, Think Faster, Talk Smarter, and I think these are really going to help you. So I'll have a link to the book. You want to go grab a copy, it's there for you. But here's some ideas that I have from the book, and when I'm reading the book, I'm thinking of you. I think of you a lot, by the way. And when I find a good resource, I'm like, I got to tell you about it. So it's Think Faster, Talk Smarter. It's things that we need to be able to do as podcasters, and I want to share with you. Thanks for being here. Let's go. As a podcast host, you're constantly thinking on your feet. Whether it's reacting to a guest story, filling space in a solo episode like this, or pivoting when the conversation doesn't go as planned and things kind of go off track. Matt Abrams in Think Faster, Talk Smarter offers some really good practical communication tools that can translate beautifully over for us as podcasters into the world of podcasting. So I want to help you to apply some of them for your show. And the first is to manage your mic anxiety. Okay, so wherever your mic is right now, I want you to go grab it. And I just want you to look at it for a second and go, does this thing make me anxious? This microphone that I talk into on my podcast. Does this thing make me anxious? And if it does, why? When we're nervous coming to the mic, the mic doesn't just pick up our voice, it picks up our attitude, our frame of mind. It picks up if we're timid, if we're confident. The microphone just magnifies not just our voice, but how we show up in this world. And I think people get a little nervous around a microphone because they think, what if people think I'm being fake? What if people think that this isn't real? And so we get nervous. We get nervous before we hit record. Abrahams suggests that mindfulness and breathing techniques can really help us to calm us down. And if you're a hyper person, like you're go all the time, taking a step back before you hit record might help you to kind of reconnect with your thoughts, recollect kind of, what you really want to accomplish in this episode, instead of just jumping right in and then splashing around like someone who doesn't know how to swim in the deep end. It's probably better to just take a pause, take a second, collect your thoughts, and then hit record. It'll help with your nerves before you go on as a guest on a podcast. Show up early. Don't be like showing up right on time or a couple of minutes late. You're going to feel rushed. You're not going to feel prepared. You're not going to feel ready. Go early, check your mic, check your camera, make sure everything's working properly so you're not nervous. And make it a priority as a guest and as a host to be on time, be prepared, so that that element can't stress you out and make you even more nervous in that moment. We need to do something for ourselves. Listening to a song, go have a drink of water, go outside and play with your dog for a few minutes before the interview, before you hit record, something. Go for a walk, go read a book, I don't know. But give yourself some space before you hit the mic, as a host or as a guest. You'll sound more confident, you'll sound more relaxed, and you'll be more ready to lead the conversation as the host and be able to participate better as a guest. So manage your mic anxiety by being prepared and giving yourself space before you hit record. Another thing we can do is use simple structures. The book talks about how when we're put on the spot, we can use a framework, and they talk about the framework being what as a question, what, and then so what, and then now what. What, so what, and now what? And this is a framework that can help you to keep your thoughts organized. So, for example, as a host, you can use this to help shape follow-up questions. Recap what the guest just said, or use that to smoothly transition into your next talking point. By recapping what your guest is saying, you are giving the audience a chance to kind of digest what just happened as the answer to the question you've asked, and it allows the guest to maybe go deeper or to expand or give clarification, a story. Use simple structures in how you do your interviews and how you present your content. It'll really help you. And then the third part in the book is talking about listening like a pro. Podcasting has made me a better listener. My wife will attest to this because when I first started podcasting, I would talk over my guests. I would redirect them mid-thought. And for me, I was so nervous. I was excited, and I just wanted to be a part of the conversation. I'm finding I'm maturing as a podcaster to the point where I don't need to talk as much. And I don't need to do the affirming, yeah, oh, yeah, me, I like that too. Yeah, that's what happened to me as well. I don't need to do all that stuff. And I just give my guests space. And I hear back from my guests that they don't get treated like that commonly on other shows. So they love it when they come on my show because they can speak, they can get their full thoughts out, and they feel like they're being heard. Active listening means bringing back a piece of the conversation that happened at the beginning, tying it back in near the end of the episode because it really relates, and it's like a big bow that you're just tying on your episode. And those are callbacks. You'll hear comedians do them all the time. They'll start with a joke at the beginning of their set, they'll kind of touch on it during the middle, and they'll hit it again at the end. You're like, oh, that's so good. It's very satisfying, right? And it all comes from listening. We need to listen like a pro. Active listening is your superpower as a podcaster. It helps you as a host. Instead of just thinking about your next question, tune in fully to what your guest is saying in the moment. This lets you ask sharper, more relevant questions, and really helps you to create a deeper connection with the person that you're interviewing or the content. This is going to help you, it's going to help your guests, it's going to help your audience if you just listen like a pro. When you ask a question, then be quiet. And when you ask a question, don't ask 5 questions in one question. Ask a single question. Don't give multiple options. Just ask it in the simplest way possible and allow your guest to respond. And be ready for the follow-up question because you're giving yourself time to listen Your guest has said something interesting. Acknowledge what your guest just said by following the crumbs they're leaving for you. And don't ignore them and go to your next question. Follow the conversation and listen like a pro. Another thing that this book kind of talks about and points to is to pause before you speak. Radio people will not like this. Dead air is just the enemy of radio. But this isn't radio. This is podcasting. And dead air is a little awkward, but it's also a powerful way to get people to go, what just happened there? I always say that the beautiful part of music is what happens between the notes. The spaces, the gaps between the notes. When the band is playing, they're all in, and all of a sudden everybody drops out, and it's just the drums. It's just the bass. It's just the piano. It's just a guy strumming on a chord, on his guitar. There's this, everyone just like sits up and goes, wait, what happened there? And then the band rebuilds and comes back into where they left off. It's so cool when that happens. And this space, this dead air, even though it feels scary, short pauses help you to gather your thoughts and help you to respond more thoughtfully. So if you're a guest on the show, if you're the host of the show, don't be afraid of these little short pauses. As a host, learning and leaning into your silence can really help to create space for better questions. It can help you to clear out and have a better expectation of where the conversation is going, and really feels more natural. It feels like two people having a conversation when you leverage these short pauses in your content. Don't be afraid of the pauses. And when you go back to do your editing and you're like, that felt a little bit much, you can always trim out a silence. Silence is golden. That's what they say. So get a little bit of gold in your podcast by being a little bit more quiet and giving some space. I love it for when I interview a guest and I ask them a question, they answer the question, and I just give like a little hesitation before I jump in for the next question. And in that hesitation, my guest might go, you know what, there's more to this. And then they keep talking. And you're like, oh, here we go. They've gone past the pre-scripted question and answer, and now they're going into new territory. That's where the fun is as a host. It's unnerving, and your guest is looking at you on the camera on your screen going, what? But that wasn't enough? Oh. They will fill up the space. So practice it. Try it. Don't make it awkward, but just enough that your guest wants to fill in the gaps. That's a powerful thing for a podcaster. The fifth thing that the book talks about is to practice improvising. One of my favorite things was I went to a thing at Second City called Tony and Tina's Wedding. And this was a immersive comedy play skit thing where you, as the person coming to watch the show, were in the show. Like you were acting in the show and you didn't even realize it was going to happen. My wife and I were seated for a wedding, Tony and Tina's wedding. We were on the bride's side of the chapel, and we sat beside a man who was probably, 70, and he was the grandfather of the bride. I sat right beside him, and he talked to me like I was one of the cousins of the bride, and he was all in. And I looked at him like, I just bought tickets. I don't even know what's going on here. And I had to play along. And they had great ways of including us. We even went down after the wedding, and Tina's boyfriend disrupted the wedding. It was really interesting. But after the wedding, we went downstairs to the reception hall. There was a dance, we had dinner, the bridal party was there. There was more chaos and more laughter and hilarity. My wife danced with the groom. And that was weird. But it was like you were just thrown into this. And it's awkward to improv. It's awkward to just react in the moment to what's happening. But I think as podcasters, your ability to improv and just to think on your feet is so unpredictable, but it's so engaging. I love the show Whose Line Is It Anyway, where they give them random things and they have to just come off top of their head. Here's a prompt, go. And you have to come up with a story, a funny thing, something, a song. A great example. Podcasters, go watch Whose Line Is It Anyway. Go on YouTube and just watch any episode. That's what I'm talking about. The ability for you who maybe are super scripted, super organized, super buttoned up, to think on your feet, react in real time, and be engaging. Without the script, without anything to keep you tied to what you're doing, you're just got to think on your feet. Improv. Guests are going to surprise you. And the conversations are going to take unexpected turns when you have a guest on your show. By practicing your improv skills, like word association games, the whole yes and, keeping the conversation going and not cutting off, not ending it, but continuing the conversation using things like yes and, you'll hear that a lot in improv, can really make you more flexible and more creative on the mic. Practice improv. Again, Whose Line Is It Anyway? Go on YouTube and watch any episode. That's what I'm talking about. Does that make you uncomfortable to be that person on stage? Then that's maybe something you should go and sign up with an improv class in your community and go learn how to do that. Your podcast will be better for it, and your guests will love you. Practice improv. The next thing they talk about in the book as well is to keep it all clear and concise. Your audience comes to your podcast for the insights that you provide, not the jargon or the long-winded tangents. I am so annoyed by podcasters who just, it's like they took their hands off the steering wheel and we don't know where we're going in this conversation. They don't finish their sentences. They don't know how to finalize a story. There's no resolution. They're all over the place. They seem completely unprepared. And as a listener, listening later, I just feel like they forgot about us. And in that moment, it's not clear why I'm listening to this show. And when it's not clear and it's confusing, you hear people say, when you confuse, you lose. And I think we lose listeners when we don't have a clear and concise idea of where our podcast is going. In the book, they stress clarity and brevity. These are both key things for podcasters. Trimming the fluff, trimming the extras, simplifying your language, and focusing on delivering your takeaways, you really help your listeners to really latch on to what you're doing in your podcast and feel connected to the content, to you, and they feel like you give off the impression that you know what you're doing, even if you don't. Be clear, be brief. And people are like, how long should my podcast be? Well, as long as it needs to be. That's it. If you can get your information out in 5 minutes, don't make a 1-hour podcast and fill it with a bunch of stuff. It's all candy floss. It's nothing. It's a bunch of air. There's nothing to it. Take a thing of candy floss and stick it in a glass of water. It disappears because it's just fluff. There's nothing really to it. It's just sugar and air. There's a lot of sugar and air in podcasting. And if you can trim out some of that, your audience is going to love you for it. Keep it clear and keep it concise. Cut out the fluff in your podcast. And then the seventh thing I've also noticed through the book, is engage your audience in your content. Engagement in your podcast can come through stories, through humor, and questions that keep listeners hooked. Whether you're a solo podcaster like what I'm doing right now, or you're interviewing a guest, lean into storytelling and ask rhetorical or direct questions that make your listeners feel included in the conversation. When you do this, it helps people to connect with you deeper, on a totally deeper level, and they're with you. So engage your audience. I've had people say that they love my humor and that I just crack them up. And I appreciate that because I'm not trying to be a funny guy, but that's the real Dave here. And if you picked up on that in the past, great. That's awesome. That's who I am. It's not a show. You meet me in person, that's exactly who I am. So engage your audience and use what's natural to you. Don't be fake. Use what's natural to you. Stories are always great. If you're a guest on a show, on someone else's podcast, use stories. A great way to connect with the audience. Use stories. And then the last thing from the book that I just kind of wanted to hone in on as well is to reflect and improve at all points for your podcast. Every episode of your show, including the next one you're going to record this week or today, is a chance for you to be better. Every time. It's an opportunity for you to improve. By asking your listeners for feedback and re-listening to your own episodes, you can note where you could probably just be a little bit better with that question for your guest. Or you could be a little bit better with your intro or your outro. This 25-minute episode could be 22 minutes. If I took out some of that, you'll hear it. And when you ask for feedback from people who actually listen to your show, there's some gurus that I hear will get on and coach you about your podcast, but they don't even listen to your show. They just tell you to do it the way they do it. And I'm like, that is so empty. Get people to actually listen to your show before they give you feedback. Ignore those gurus who don't do that, because that's just a waste of time. And just get the feedback that helps you to improve. Tighten these little areas up. Maybe slow down. Maybe you just talk too fast. Maybe you talk too slow. Maybe you need some more energy. Like you're falling asleep on the mic. Your audience is already out cold then if you're falling asleep. Treat each recording as part of your growth as a communicator. The best podcast hosts don't just ask questions, they manage their own energy. They think on their feet and they connect deeply with their guests and their audience by applying some of these things. And we talked about these 8 things from the book that we have talking about today. You not only sound smarter as a podcaster, even when you're under pressure, but you also create a show that feels more natural, it's more engaging, and it's more memorable. As a podcaster, I'm challenging to kind of go through these 8 things again that will help you from the book think faster, talk smarter, manage your mic anxiety, use simple structures, listen like a pro, pause before you speak, practice improvising, keep it clear and concise, engage your audience, and reflect and improve. All of these things combined will make your next episode better than the last one, better than the last 10 episodes, better than the last 100 or 500 or 516 episodes. Simply by putting these into place, you will improve. You will get better. I promise. But it takes your effort to do this and to put this into practice. Will you commit to this for your show? Will you think faster and talk smarter on your next episode, grab a copy of the book, read through it, and find these points and pull them out for yourself. This is just an intro. There's way more in here for you. If you want to go deeper on this, then grab the book Think Faster, Talk Smarter by Matt Abrahams. Link in the show notes. Thanks for being here. Looking forward to your podcast improving. I really am. If you need help, you need feedback, reach out to me anytime. You know where to find me. Thanks for being here for another episode of the How to Podcast series. Talk soon. Hey, thanks for being here. Thank you for listening to the end of the podcast. You're here with me. I'm so grateful. I want to put something in front of you. For the person that's listened this far, you're my new best friend. So what I'm trying to do every month is I have a goal, and you can help me with this goal. Very simple. What I'm trying to do is have 5 conversations this month with listeners of the How to Podcast series. You don't have to have a podcast to respond. This can be the first time ever that we're going to have a conversation, but I'm looking to talk to 5 people. Now, you're still here, so you're one of the people that I would love to talk to next. So on my howtopodcast.ca website is a calendar, and I'd love to have you respond on howtopodcast.ca. Just click the calendar link, set up time in my calendar, and in the comment section for the meeting, just put something like listener. That's it. If you have a show, put it in the comments too so I can go listen. But if you don't, I just want to talk to 5 listeners every month from now to the end of the month. So if you're listening to me right now, you're the person I want to talk to. And through howtopodcast.ca, you and I can get together, chat about the show, chat about your journey as a podcaster. Where are you at? What do you need this show to become for you? What's missing? Your feedback. I just want to meet you. And as podcasters, I would encourage you to do something similar to this in your podcast so that you can meet and interact with your audience. So, howtopodcast.ca, I'm looking to talk to 5 people every month, and I would love for you to be one of them. Reach out. It's free. I'm not selling you anything. I just want to talk to you at howtopodcast.ca. Let's get in the calendar and chat. Thanks for listening.